Imagine this. You save up, you stretch your budget, you actually go over your limit because you're feeling generous, and the very next day, the person you helped calls you crying, demanding more. That was the exact moment I realized my sister didn't just cross a line, she sprinted past it, and what I decided to do next. Let's just say she won't ever pull this again. If you've ever dealt with an entitled family member who thought your kindness was weakness, hit that subscribe button right now. Drop a like if you believe generosity shouldn't be punished, and stick around because this story is a masterclass in quiet, justified revenge. So here's the setup. I come from a big family, like really big. The kind of big where holidays are loud, chaotic, and expensive if you're not careful. Years ago, we came up with a system to keep Christmas from turning into a financial bloodbath. We draw names. You only buy gifts for the people you're assigned. Simple. Fair. No drama, at least in theory. This year, I drew my sister and her family. She lives clear across the country, different state, different time zone, so anything I send has to be shipped. Now, context matters here. I'm a teacher, which is just a polite way of saying chronically underpaid. I love my job, but I don't have money to burn. I also have my own household, my own responsibilities, and my own limits. Still, I wanted to do something nice. A few months earlier, my sister had casually mentioned a board game she really wanted. It had been sitting on her wish list forever. Every time it came up, she'd sigh dramatically and say, maybe one day. I remembered that. So when I drew her name, I thought, okay, perfect. One meaningful gift, something the whole family can enjoy. I bought the game. Not only that, I added expansion packs. Multiple. I went over the agreed spending limit because I genuinely wanted to make them happy. As I clicked confirm order, I felt good. That warm, quiet satisfaction of being generous when you don't have much, but you give anyway. I had it shipped directly to her house because, obviously, I wasn't flying it across the country myself. And this is where everything went sideways. A few days after it arrived, my sister texted me excited. She said thank you. She told me the kids loved it. And for a brief moment, I thought, okay, great. This landed well. Mission accomplished. Then she casually added, yeah, they saw the box and got too excited. I just couldn't make them wait. I remember staring at my phone, rereading that line, couldn't make them wait. Something about that rubbed me the wrong way, but I let it go. Kids get excited. Fine. Not my parenting style, but whatever. I figured they'd just play it now and still acknowledge the gift on Christmas. Wrong. The very next day, my phone rang. It was my sister. Her voice was already tense when I answered. No small talk, no build-up. She jumped straight into it. So we have a problem. That's never a good start. She explained that since the kids had already opened and played with the game, there would be nothing for them to open during the family's Zoom call on Christmas Eve. And apparently, that would be devastating. According to her, her kids would feel left out, watching everyone else open gifts while they just sat there. Then she said it. So I need you to get them another present. Not asked, not suggested, needed. I actually laughed at first, because I thought she was joking. Like surely this was sarcasm. But there was no laughter on her end. Just this expectant silence, like she was waiting for me to apologize and pull out my credit card. I told her, calmly, that I couldn't afford another gift. That's when the tone shifted. Her voice cracked. She started crying. Real tears or performance tears, I still don't know. She told me I was being unfair, that Christmas was about the kids, that I had put her in a horrible position. And then she dropped the line that still makes my jaw clench. Well, I guess YOU can be the one to tell the kids they won't have anything to open. There it was. The manipulation. The guilt trip. The attempt to shove the consequences of her choices onto me. I felt my chest tighten. My thoughts were racing. I could practically hear my own heartbeat in my ears. I reminded her, again, that I'm a teacher, that I already went over budget, that I have my own family to care for. And then I said what she didn't want to hear. This is on you. You chose to let them open it early. If there's a problem, you need to fix it. Buy another gift. Wrap an empty box. Or teach your kids to wait. Silence. Then sobbing. Then anger. She accused me of not caring about her children, of ruining Christmas, of being selfish. And finally, she hung up on me. Just like that. I sat there for a long moment, phone still in my hand, staring at the wall. That good feeling I'd had when I bought the gift. Gone. Replaced with this sour mix of disbelief and irritation. And here's the thing. At first, I felt a flicker of guilt. That's how conditioning works in families like this. You're trained to smooth things over, to fix problems you didn't cause, to keep the peace at your own expense. But the more I thought about it, the clearer it became. She wasn't upset about the kids. She was upset that her impatience backfired. Honestly, the more I replayed the conversation in my head, the more convinced I became that she wanted this outcome, that she let them open the gift early because she figured she could squeeze another present out of me. After all, I'd already gone over budget once. Why not push for more? And that realization flipped a switch in my brain. I wasn't angry anymore. I was done. Later that night, I told my husband everything. As I vented, he listened quietly, nodding until I finished. Then, completely deadpan, he said, "We should buy them an advent calendar so they can learn when Christmas actually is." I burst out laughing. To be clear, we're not actually doing that. But the fact that we could joke about it told me something important. I wasn't wrong. I wasn't cruel. I was being reasonable. And that's when I decided on my response. I didn't call her back. I didn't text her. I didn't apologize. I didn't offer solutions. I let the silence sit. Christmas Eve rolled around. The family Zoom call started like always. Smiles, small talk, wrapping paper everywhere. One by one, families opened their gifts. When it was my sister's turn, the kids looked a little confused. They glanced at her. She smiled too brightly and said, "You already opened yours." There was an awkward beat. Then life moved on. No meltdown. No trauma. No ruined holiday. Because kids are resilient, especially when they're used to being held accountable. After the call, I finally sent my sister a short message. "Next time, I'll do an e-gift card." That was it. No explanation. No justification, just a boundary. She didn't respond. And honestly, that was the most peaceful part of all. Because the real revenge here wasn't yelling. It wasn't shaming. It wasn't dramatic confrontation. It was refusing to be manipulated. It was letting her experience the natural consequences of her own choices. And it was quietly deciding that my generosity would no longer be weaponized against me. I slept better that night than I had in days. Sometimes justice isn't loud. Sometimes it's just calm, clear, and final. If this story hit close to home, you're not alone. Entitlement thrives on guilt, and the moment you stop feeding it, it collapses. So here's my question for you. What's the most satisfying moment you've ever had where you simply refused to be pushed? Drop it in the comments. Like the video if you believe boundaries are a form of self-respect, and subscribe for more stories where quiet decisions deliver the loudest lessons.